Have you ever felt a moment twist under your skin, the kind where you know, before anything happens, that something is already wrong? That's what tonight felt like. The street had emptied too fast, the hum of the party fading into a hollow quiet that pressed against my ears. I watched her walk first, slipping from the doorway like she was dissolving into the shadows. Silver threads of her dress caught the flicker of the porch light, and for a heartbeat, I swore the air thickened around her. She smiled without warmth, tossing her heels into her bag and saying it was just a short walk. I nodded, pretending to believe her, and then she vanished. No footsteps, no rustle, just an emptiness that seemed to breathe. I stared at the porch light, waiting for some flicker of life, some signal that she would return. But there was nothing. The phone didn't buzz. No dots danced above the conversation thread. The last message taunted me silently. Home yet? Frozen there like a mark on my mind I couldn't erase. And the smell. That perfume. Not sweet. Not delicate. Sharp. Insisting. Haunting. It lingered, curling through the air, clinging to the edges of the hallway, pressing against me, whispering that she had been here, and she was gone for good. Even now, the porch light burns every night. It doesn't guide anyone home. It waits, stubborn and patient, as if it remembers what I can't. And maybe that's why I can't stop waiting too. What if the last sound you carry isn't a goodbye at all, but a sound that doesn't fit the story you're telling yourself? That's what I keep circling back to. A door. A car. The wrong kind of echo. I shouldn't have heard it. She wasn't supposed to be anywhere near a car. But in the middle of the night, it came sharp and metallic, like something sealing shut. Too fast to process. Too final to forget. By morning, the house had shifted. Not a big shift, just a quiet rearranging of normal. The kitchen chair was still pulled out, angled like she'd just stood up mid-thought. A half-drunk glass of water sweating onto the table. A scarf slung over the banister like it had been caught mid-fall. I could smell her perfume there too, but now it felt less like her and more like a trace. Fading, thinning, not meant to last. Her father's truck sat in the driveway. Keys untouched in the dish. He was pacing, not the nervous kind but the type where you're trying to walk out of your own head. His palm kept dragging over one section of wallpaper until the pattern blurred. He didn't meet my eyes. He said, almost to himself, "She promised she'd be back before curfew." I wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe she was asleep somewhere safe. Her phone dead. A simple story waiting to untangle. But the house itself told a different version. The air felt thinner. The scent on the scarf weaker. Like something had already ended and no one had been told yet. And then there's what the neighbor said. She swears she saw a silver flash at the edge of the street around 2 a.m. Just a flicker, like metal under a street lamp. And someone else. Not walking behind her. Not following exactly. Just there. Motionless. Waiting. Do you ever hold a memory so tightly it starts to slip apart? Like the harder you grip it, the more it changes shape? That's what's happening to me. Last night comes back in flashes. But each time it feels like someone's edited a different version. I keep seeing her under that streetlight, the dress shimmering. Silver. Except sometimes, in my head, it's not silver at all. It's pale blue, washed out, almost like a hospital gown. Sometimes she's barefoot, skin against cold pavement. Other times I swear I hear her heels. Sharp clicks trailing off like a metronome. I don't know which is real. I don't even know if there is a real anymore. Her cousin says he saw her outside the party, leaning against a brick wall, phone lifted high, laughing at something only she could see. Her coworker says she left in a rush, head down, no phone, mumbling that she didn't feel right. Both voices sound so sure. Both pictures can't exist at the same time. And then there's the gas station attendant on Main Street. He swears she came in at 2:20 a.m., alone, buying a bottle of water. He swears he can still smell her perfume in the air. But the receipt log? Nothing. No sale. No record she was ever there. Maybe the timeline broke. Maybe the people did. Or maybe it's me, twisting details without realizing. Because each time I replay that night, her perfume doesn't fade like it should. Thickens. It moves. Like it's following me. reaching from someplace I haven't looked yet, tugging me toward something I'm not sure I want to see. What happens when the evidence you're given doesn't steady you but makes the floor tilt even more? That's what it felt like when the police showed me the footage. A grainy clip from a corner store 2 streets over. The figure could have been her. Same build, same sway in the walk, but the dress was darker, almost black, swallowing light. In her left hand, something small glinted once and then vanished between frames. They froze the video and asked if I could confirm it was her. My mouth said yes. My stomach didn't. Her face never turned toward the camera. Then there was the delivery driver. He claimed he saw her near the train tracks, talking to a man in a baseball cap. Said the man touched her arm and she didn't pull away. But a jogger swore she was alone, stumbling, weaving, like she was lost or sick or couldn't focus her eyes. Both stories were told with certainty. Both couldn't exist at the same time, and neither matched the footage. At home, the contradictions kept creeping in. Her journal sat open on her desk, but the last page was gone, ripped clean. Her favorite jacket missing from the closet. And the one detail that stopped me cold. Her perfume bottle on the windowsill, half empty, when I know I saw her slip it into her purse before she left. I can't decide which is worse, the idea that someone else placed it back, or the possibility that I imagined the whole thing, that my own memory is slowly rewriting itself. What if the only suspect left is the one living inside your own head? I woke before dawn, certain I'd heard her call my name. It wasn't a scream or even a whisper. More like the sound of someone trying to breathe through water. It came from the kitchen. When I stumbled in, the room was empty. Only the kettle hissed, though the burner was cold. By daylight, the detectives returned, their voices a low drone over my heartbeat. They asked again about the perfume bottle, about the uneven loops in her last notes. I told them I didn't know. My hands said something different. They clamped the table so hard the wood left ridges in my skin. That night, the house stopped being neutral. The hallway mirror caught a flicker of her behind my shoulder, a face turned half away. When I looked directly, it was only me staring back. Pale, sweat shining at my temples, eyes I barely recognized. Her voice followed me into sleep. Not words, exactly, but a pulse against my skull that formed a sentence as I woke. You forgot me. My sheets were wet with sweat. And then the scent came, the one I've never been able to shake. Her perfume, crisp and undeniable, hanging in the dark like proof of a presence no one else could see. By morning, I'd stopped trusting the footage, the witnesses, even the police. Maybe she never left. Maybe the house itself is holding her in some corner I can't reach. And then a new detail, sharp as a blade. On the bathroom mirror, a smear of lipstick in a wavering line. Fresh, wet, not mine. 3 words. Shaky, almost childlike. Detective Warner placed a final folder in front of me. Inside, timelines, camera stills, GPS data, and receipts. Each piece pointed toward a single, inescapable truth. Ivimran's movements that night were clear. The gas station, the streets she walked alone. But the trail led to one location where the evidence could no longer be ignored. I told myself James couldn't have done it. I never saw him at the gas station. I didn't see him near her. But the items in that folder, DNA on a hoodie, blood in the trunk lining of his car, GPS data showing his vehicle parked outside the abandoned mill for 37 minutes, forced me to confront the reality I had been avoiding. 2 days later, a call came from a property manager. The old warehouse, long abandoned, had drawn complaints of a strong stench. Animals had been circling the back lot. When the police went inside quietly, they found her. Ivimran was under a tarp, in the corner, curled in a gray hoodie. One shoe was missing, her phone still in her pocket. Small, fragile, contained, as if she had tried to make herself disappear from the world. James was arrested 2 days later. He never confessed. He offered no motive, no apology, no explanation. His words were brief. She trusted me, and I panicked. There was no trial that could undo the violation of trust. No reasoning that could undo the consequences. Her last message remained etched in memory. Home yet? I stared at the screen, the words frozen. unanswered. Every receipt, every camera frame, every trace of evidence confirmed what had happened. But none could explain how quickly a life could be stolen, how ordinary someone could seem before that trust was broken. Sometimes the hardest truths aren't in the horror of a scene. They are in the ordinary, in the everyday decisions, in the faces of people you think you know. And in the case of Ivimarin, the hardest truth was this. Even when the evidence lines up perfectly, the human cost, the empty moments, the unanswered messages, the silence, is the part that never goes away. The truth wasn't one thing. It was everything. Every lie, every memory, every scent, every shadow. And I was still in the middle of it. For more stories that will haunt you long after the screen fades, subscribe to The Veil of Secret.